Well, it was a pretty good day for the old man today because all three of my teams won. It's the Pittsburgh, the Rams, and the Bills were all three my picks. And the other good news is that the book is put to bed. And that doesn't mean it's ready to go. It's going to take us another roughly 5 weeks to actually publish it, but it should be available for sale by October 1st. And then actually, you should be able to get a copy by the middle of October. Did I say April? I meant October. It's late. I know. I know. Well, this football season is all going to be weird from now on, especially on Sundays, a little bit on Monday nights too. But we'll do our best to get these out a little earlier than this usually. All right. Elon Musk says, "Hey, that's an interesting idea." Well, what is he saying? An interesting idea. Well, it's from Wall Street Apes. He says Elon Musk should buy a couple of the biggest mainstream media networks and just have them tell the truth. If we had a real Republican Congress, they could actually restore the Smith-Mundt Act, and then that would be required that these TV shows tell the truth or give at least balanced opinions. And that's what Elon Musk was saying. Interesting idea too. Now, I don't know whether when Elon says an interesting idea, I either get worried or excited that that means he's actually contemplating that this might be something he would do. And of course, it would kind of fit to go along with X and XAI to actually have a television station in there as well. And I'm sure he could easily afford it. Most of the major TV stations today would be way less than what he paid for Twitter. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. The biggest economic number this week will be not the CPI. No, well, it'll be big and it'll be important and people will be paying a lot of attention to the CPI, but the really big number is going to be the number on Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern. And that's where we're going to hear what they changed the labor numbers for last year from the April of 2024 to March of 2025. That's a 12-month period. They've already marked those down. I mean, if you go back and you look at what they decided, each month they would put up a number, then the next month they change it, then the next month they change it again, and then they change it again now. All right. Well, they would have started out about 275, and then over time they've lopped off about 100,000 of those. And now this week they're gonna lop off another. Did I say 100,000? No, I just changed all those numbers completely wrong. They would have 2.7 million jobs. I'm sorry, and they've knocked off 1 million of them already to get it down to around 1.7 million over that 12-month period. Now they're going to knock off another between 500,000 and 1 million is what people are estimating. We'll find that on Tuesday. But if it's 700,000, that would get it down to 1 million, which would mean that it would be no matter what the number is, it's going to be a fraction of what was originally reported. And everybody's wondering why Trump thought they should fire the head of the BLM, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, or Labor Management, which is it? Anyway, whatever it is, they fired her, and they should fire a bunch of the rest of the people. And they're going to get A.J. Antoni in there. Or is it DJ? It might be DJ Antoni in there. Anyway, and he's going to hopefully change this, and we're going to get better numbers. We're going to use different methods. Chamath Palihapitiya says that he thinks what they should do is require, or at least request, and maybe require some of these big corporations, and have some kind of a mix of people that are sending in their actual numbers in blockchain, so that we don't know who they are. All the information is completely shielded, and then we'd be able to take those numbers and come up with something more realistic. Anyway, that's going to be huge on Tuesday, or will it? A lot of people may ignore it. To me, it's really, really significant. Now, maybe it'll turn out to be more than 1 million. That is the high number that people are talking about. Maybe it'll turn out to be less than 500,000. Maybe it'll only turn out to be 100,000. Well, that would be significant in terms of how we would look at where the economy was last year, how many jobs we were actually creating on a monthly basis on average, because this would help. Now, maybe these numbers are wrong and the old numbers were right. Anyway, but whatever these numbers are, these are supposed to be the ones that are the most correct. And then if we can take those numbers, it should give us an idea of what's really going on now. Because, I've pointed out over and over again that the real number, this 22, or the number that came out this week, 22,000, should be about right. Maybe 40, maybe 50, maybe 70, maybe even a negative number, but not 150. And if the numbers from that last 12 months, from March back of last year, are really 80,000 a month, well, then you take away all the federal jobs, you take away some of the immigration jobs, you add in a little AI loss, and you can still have a great economy chugging along at 3%, and still have numbers like roughly between 0 and 50,000 average per month compared to 84 last month, or 83. Anyway, you understand that? Does that all make sense? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, a quick reminder that tomorrow night we will learn about the new product or the new products that the mega pack part of the business is going to do. It looks like it's going to be a small mega pack, a mini mega pack that'd be like 1/8 the size of the mega pack. And that is going to be coming out of Las Vegas tomorrow night, special show. And they're calling it Las Megas. So anyway, and then we're also, this is like great confirmation of my conversation with Phil Beisel this morning. If you didn't see that show this morning with Phil Beisel, you should definitely go back and watch it. As usual, he gave amazing kinds of things that nobody else really is qualified to talk about on this show. That's why we also have him as one of the chapters in the book. So what was confirmed today? Well, Elon Musk said, just had a great design review today with the Tesla AI5 chip design team. He says, this is going to be an epic chip, and AI6 to follow has a shot at being the best AI chip by far. He says, switching from doing 2-chip architecture to 1 means that all of our silicon talent is focused on making 1 incredible chip, no brainer in retrospect, as he's now thinking about it after having made this change. It's what they probably should have maybe been doing a lot earlier. Well, great. That's good to know. And again, if you watch the show with Phil, you're going to hear all the reasons why, all the benefits to this, the aspects of inference and why inference is the key. And this is actually, I'm getting smarter by the week because of these people I have around me. And the minute that he said that he was going to start making Dojo out of the same chip, I'm like, well, that's because of what Jensen said. Inference is what matters. It's going to be 90+% of all of the compute that's going to be needed is going to be inference, not training. All right. So what's going to happen next week? What are these economic numbers that are going to come out this week? Well, there will be a few pretty exciting things. Consumer credit is going to be coming up. That is going to be, last month there was 7.4 billion increase. They're thinking it's going to be a over $15 billion increase. We'll see what happens. We've got the NFIB Optimism Index, my favorite thing. That'll be on Tuesday also, in addition to the new numbers for the labor numbers. And last time the Optimism Index was at 100.3. They're thinking that's going to creep up to 100.6. That doesn't sound like a bad economy. That would sound like a good economy. All right, let's see. Then we've got on Wednesday, we get the Producer Price Index first this time. I don't know I wonder how they decide when to do the producer and the consumer. But anyway, Producer Price Index is first this time. Last month, it went up I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing it, 0.9%. Producer Price Index went up 0.9%. Oh, month over month? No, that can't be right. Something wrong there. They're thinking it's going to go up 0.3. Well, that part makes sense. The core PPI, they're saying last time it went up 0.6, and now they're saying they don't know. PPI year over year was 3.3, and they thinking the core will be 2.8, dropping dramatically. Look at that. I'm sorry, that is the core PPI year over year. It was 2.8, which is a good number. And we'll see if it comes in. They don't have a guess. And then wholesale inventories, which I don't care about, they were at 0.2% up. They're thinking they're going to go up another 0.2%. That might have something to do with some front running of imports due to additional tariffs that are coming along, I guess, starting soon. Consumer Price Index on Thursday, it was 0.2 last month. They think it'll go up to 0.3. I doubt it. The CPI year over year was 2.7. They think that goes up to 2.9. I don't think so. The core CPI was 0.3. They think that stays the same at 0.3. And the core CPI year over year was 3.1. They think it stays the same. I think all of those will be lower than their expectations because I watch Truflation. Every morning, I give you the Truflation numbers. So if you want to know what Truflation is saying and you don't want to bother to look it up, every morning you can get that number. All right, then the monthly U.S. budget number comes in as well. Last month, it was up 380 billion. The deficit was 380 billion, and they're thinking that'll drop down to 290 billion this month. And I'm going to make a big guess here. I'm going to think that they're going to be super far off on this one, and that the U.S. federal budget deficit is going to be a lot less than 290 billion. All right. So then says here, okay. I think I forgot to mention where this article came from, but it's talking about housing. And the thing is that Trump, okay, let me start it here. The number one thing that's bugging the kids, the people under 35, they just did this, Rasmussen just did an analysis, and the number one thing that's bugging them, number one reason they're talking about, potentially voting for these socialists is because they can't afford to buy a house. Trump knows this. He's known it all along. He mentioned it when he was running for president. He's mentioned it recently. And then I just heard yesterday that they are, and that's going to be one of the biggest things for 2026 is going to be figuring out what to do about housing. So this writer says that he notes that the out of the box solution would be to allow current homeowners with low rates to move with them. So I don't know about you. I've got, on my home, our residence home, we've got a rate around 3%. Well, why would I ever sell? Why would I ever do anything with that mortgage? But if I can take it with me, if I can take that mortgage with me to the next house, then I might be looking for something in another neighborhood, or I might be looking for something smaller, or who knows what I might be trying to do. But if I can take the mortgage with me, that'd be huge. This writer is saying that the government could use the mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who are quasi-governmental agencies, to provide a transfer of the homeowners, the rates that these special rates. And this would be an incentive to get people back into the market. And the way that a 7% rates wouldn't, but comes with a host of other complications. It says, well, great, it has complications. I think it would be a good idea. He doesn't mention, and maybe this is also something that could be done, even though contractually Fannie and Freddie or whoever owns these mortgages at any given time, it's not in your mortgage now, but in the past there have been mortgages that allowed you to your new owner, the new owner, to come in and take your contract. In that case, you might require some additional underwriting and you might require some extra points, but why shouldn't you be able to transfer the mortgage? Yes, it's not in your contract. I get it. And they would have charged more to begin with if it was going to be transferable, and they did. So, but anyway, I think sometimes you might be able to fudge these things around and figure out a way to do it. Overriding or at least standardizing local laws and zoning would be a huge step forward, allowing builders to deliver the inventory needed, according to Berner. Streamlining the permitting process and putting fewer restrictions on builders would be a great way to augment home inventory, to build more homes. And this is the number one thing that home builders talk about. Remember, I've written a couple of books on real estate. I know the real estate market backwards and forwards, and I can tell you that the number one thing that's messes up the home builders. It takes them extra time. It takes them a huge amount of money to permit and do all this. And as a result, they don't want to build low-cost housing. They want to only build the higher-priced housing because they have all of those costs that are the same for a big house as for a little house. And so why wouldn't you want to only build the big houses? Land cost and desirable land are also huge issues. Trump has talked about starting new cities in places where land values are lower. He's talked about maybe using federal lands for this. He's also talked about giving new AI and new energy more location. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Giving AI a new energy. No, he's also, is that from the book? Anyway, he's also talked about potentially having some federal lands that are inside cities that have really, really good locations, places that people want to live, but there's just not enough land left to build new homes inside cities or in the suburbs. That some of these federal lands could be switched over and sold or leased or whatever in order to build more homes in those locations, some of these preferred situations. And then the insurance is also a big issue. Not sure how to deal with that, but in California, and I know other states too, California has become an insurer of last resort. Maybe the federal government could step in and become an insurer of last resort, or somehow temporarily get involved in order to solve some of these wacky things that came about as a result of COVID, because a lot of it had to do with the value, like on auto insurance, but also homeowners insurance. Some of this stuff is out of whack right now. Maybe there's some ways that the government could get in there and not, the insurance companies have to make money, and it's only fair, but maybe there's ways to make it more realistic in not what it is now. Okay, those are some ideas. Let's go ahead and take a look at where things are. First of all, we go to Tesla, which is up nicely, up to $355.35. That would be about $5 over where it closed on Friday. So that's in the overnight markets right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bonds, which last time I checked were a little bit up. Actually, interest rates, just a little bit, 1.5 basis points to 4101. I'm sorry, 4.101. Hopefully that'll turn around on Monday. We've got oil up a little bit, 74 cents to 62.61. That's still very low. And I'm kind of surprised this is up because OPEC said today they're going to increase their numbers in October. Natural gas is up 2.17% in the pre-market to $3.11. That's higher than it's been for a while. Gold coming down a little bit. It's down 26.30 in the pre-market to 36.27. Silver down 0.77 to 41.23, and copper up 0.59, $4.53. Again, real close to where it's been. We've got the dollar mixed, as I feel like I always say, dollar mixed. Bitcoin also barely changing, $156 down at 111,000. The equities tomorrow, pretty close to unchanged. We've got Dow up 0.09, S&P up 0.13, NASDAQ up 0.27. Okay, so as mentioned, you definitely want to go hear what Phil had to say this morning. The card will be right there. And then tomorrow, regular day, as far as I know, with Larry Goldberg in the 5 o'clock hour and Brian White at 7:45. And then, of course, don't miss After the Bell in the morning. We really need to get those numbers up. You should be looking at that After the Bell show every single day. It is a great way to start your morning in terms of understanding what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the stock market, what's happening with Tesla, and what's happening with Tesla stock, the 4 things that we do on this show. All right, that's all I got for you right now. Really good day. Let's hope that we have a fantastic day tomorrow. It's been great talking to you.